Alright, welcome to the very first TLDR special edition of Stuff You Need For. So we've got 2 very long episodes on podcasting, and if you're interested in getting started in podcasting but don't want to spend the time to wade through over an hour of content, well, this special episode's for you. If you're not familiar with the term, TLDR stands for Too Long Didn't Read, and it's commonly used by internet commenters as a sarcastic note on the length of a post relative to its value, or often by authors to provide a quick summary for those who don't need the full details. So this is, of course, using the latter meaning of the word. And with that said, let's go through the TLDR of podcasting. So first off, the first thing you're going to need when you're podcasting is a microphone. So this is the one we recommend if you're just starting out. This is the Audio-Technica ATR 2100 USB. You can get a foam pop filter for the front, so if your noises don't blow it out. It records with both off of USB, so you just have a normal mini USB cable that you plug in directly to your computer, and it can also record with an XLR connection for more advanced audio interfaces. You can record just with Audacity, which is a free piece of software, or you can buy another DAW or DAW, Digital Audio Workstation. We recommend Traction as it's got a lot of tooltips and are easy to use. If you've got Adobe Creative Cloud, maybe you do photography or you have Illustrator already, you can use Audition or Premiere if you're doing video. So start out with this. Once you want to start moving up to multiple hosts, you're going to need 2 microphones, one for each host. And while you can get 2 of these and plug them both in with USB, it gets to be a little difficult because most software can only record from one source at a time. So you would end up having to record 2 separate pieces and then clap to sync the 2 audio where the peak happens by importing the audio after the fact. So really, I don't recommend doing that. Instead, I would buy a second one of these microphones, and then you go out and get what's called an audio interface. So this is an audio interface. This is the PreSonus Audio Box 22 VSL. It's about $150 to $200. This is the one, it plugs in with USB and is powered off of USB. It's the one that I would recommend if you're getting a 2-input audio interface because it has more gain than is usual for a cheaper audio interface. It can go up to 65 decibels of gain. That is just a number, of course, but if you don't know what that means, but with a lot of dynamic microphones that you use for podcasting, this is a dynamic microphone, you need more power to make the volume into the sort of acceptable levels compared to some other types of microphones. One thing to note is that as you go up in quality for broadcast or microphones, broadcast being the term for the kind of microphone you probably want to use, even this one won't have enough power. But you can deal with that, and we'll get to that. So if you're moving on up to fancier microphones, probably the one we recommend is this. This is the Heil PR40 microphone. It's a dynamic microphone just like this, and dynamic essentially means it's a type of technology, but what it means for you is that it actually does a great job of rejecting background noise, so you don't hear my fridge or things like that. When using it, or if you're in front of a computer, you might not hear it. Will reject that background sound better. Now, the Heil PR40 requires even more gain and quiet gain than this audio box can provide. So you have a couple options there. The first, of course, is that if you're slowly building up, going through, you can get what's called, essentially like it's a gain booster. And there's a couple options for you. So this is the Triton Fathead gain booster, and essentially what you do is you plug it in line like the XLR cable. So you would plug the cable again into it, and then it takes some power supplied by the audio interface and uses that to boost the signal. There's another device called the Cloud Microphones Cloud Lifter. That's this. where you would plug two cables in, so it doesn't just plug straight into the device. And it does basically exactly the same thing. You can buy either one of these, buy whichever is cheaper. So right now, because the euro is so low, the Triton is cheaper at about $75. Cloudlifter is $150. So you have to buy one of those per microphone. So that's something to consider. You can also buy a more expensive audio interface. If you just need two inputs, so you're going to have two hosts, you can find the Focusrite Forte for about $400. So again, it's kind of the same price either way. If you buy two FET heads now with the euro as cheap as it is, that's $150 plus $150 to $200 for the audio interface. You're almost there. If you need even more microphones, maybe you're doing a 4-person podcast, you'd have to buy one of these per person, or if the euro goes up, these would be 100 each or more, or 150 for a Cloudlifter, then maybe it makes more sense to get a better audio interface. So if you need more than two inputs, and you want a high-end audio interface, there's lots of lower-end ones where you would just buy lots of these for each microphone, or just stick with the cheaper, Audio-Technica microphones where you don't need that. You kind of are going to end up going with it's the Apogee Quartet audio interface. This is a version of that. This is actually the Pro Tools version, produced by Avid, who makes Pro Tools. And these are quite expensive. The Apogee version is over $1,000 already. This one, I think it's almost $2,000. I got a great deal on this one buying a returned copy from Amazon Warehouse Deals. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten it. But it has 4 inputs built in with preamps that are strong enough on their own to drive an expensive microphone. It's great if you can afford it. It doesn't necessarily make sense financially if you don't get a good deal on it. So I should mention the difference between the Avid Pro Tools version of this and the one direct from the manufacturer Apogee is the Pro Tools version has Windows drivers, which is important to me since I don't use a Mac for my personal computing. And then lastly, if you want to go to the very highest end, well, not the very highest, but if you want to step up again from the Heil PR40 microphone, we'd recommend the Electro Voice RE27ND microphone. So this is a version of the RE20, which is a classic broadcast microphone. This one has kind of a more rounded sound. It doesn't have kind of the broadcast husk that you associate with a lot of DJs. I like it better. I find it to be a more natural sound. And then finally, as you saw with the Heil here, you want to get a microphone stand of some kind to keep it, right nice in front of your face. And for that, we'd recommend either the Rode PSA-1, that's what this is, or the Heil PL2T boom arm. Now you can get some of these in packages. The Heil you can get with a boom arm. It's not quite as nice as this one. It has little springs that can make a dinging noise, but it's a great deal from BSW USA. We'll throw up a link there for that. And lastly, I'm using, in case you're wondering how I'm recording myself right now, I'm using what's called a lavalier microphone. This is the Rode SmartLav Plus. This is plugged directly into an iPhone to record, and that's just to provide freedom of movement so I can move around. It doesn't sound as good as even this Audio-Technica one. It's about $70, so more expensive than the Audio-Technica as well. But if you're doing demonstrations like I'm doing right now, it's a great option. This one's designed for smartphone recording. It plugs straight into your phone, and then you just use an app to record it. So that's the TLDR of podcasting and how to podcast, what you need for it. If you'd like more information or to hear demos of the various microphones that I've shown here and others, check out the first 2 episodes of Stuff You Need For, where we go through all the stuff for podcasting, very thoroughly explain even more options, and then provide a lot of other little useful equipment like headphones and that kind of thing. So if you have any more questions, though, just leave a comment on either the YouTube post or the website, If you have a suggestion for other podcasting equipment or a request for a future episode, leave that as well. Also, let us know if you like this TLDR format. I think we'll do it more for just getting people running without as much discussion. If you'd like to see more, we have a lot of shows on different activities and the stuff you need for them, and we'll be adding more. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Stuff You Need For, or our audio feed in iTunes, or in your favorite podcast app. And lastly, you can find us online at stuffyouneedfor.com. Thanks.